Close your eyes and imagine a vast library, endless shelves stretching into the dark. Each book holds every possible combination of words, every story, every truth. Among them, one book claims to list all books that do not include themselves. Does this book list itself? Let the question linger, soft and curious. If it does, it violates its own rule, for it only lists those that don't. If it doesn't, it should, for it fits the description it gives. This is Russell's paradox, a riddle that humbles logic itself. Proposed by Bertrand Russell in 1901, it cracked the foundations of mathematics. Picture a set that contains all sets that do not contain themselves. Does this set belong to itself? The answer loops, a quiet whirl in your mind. Imagine a village barber who shaves all men who don't shave themselves, and only them. Does the barber shave himself? The question mirrors the set's endless dance. If he does, he shouldn't. If he doesn't, he must. Logic trembles here. Before Russell, mathematicians built sets freely, assuming no traps. But self-reference, like this barber or this set, spins order into chaos. In 2025, we use type theory to tame such paradoxes, layering sets carefully. A set cannot contain itself, just as a box cannot hold itself. This solution underpins modern computing, from AI to quantum algorithms. Yet, philosophically, Russell's paradox whispers of deeper mysteries. Can we define anything, ourselves, the universe, without falling into loops? As you drift, let this puzzle wrap your thoughts like a soft blanket. Think of a catalog in that infinite library, listing all catalogs. Does it list itself? The question echoes, gentle and unresolved. Russell's insight forced mathematicians to rethink infinity itself. In the early 20th century, they sought a perfect system, free of cracks. But this paradox showed that self-reference is a shadow logic cannot escape. Picture a programmer writing code that describes its own behavior. If it claims to halt, does it? The paradox creeps into silicon. In 2025, AI systems avoid these traps with strict rules, yet the question lingers. What happens when a mind, human or machine, reflects on itself? The paradox is not just math, it's a mirror of our own self-awareness. As you lie there, let its circularity soothe your wandering thoughts. Logic bends but holds, guiding you gently toward rest. Now, let's shift to a paradox that reshapes truth itself. Imagine a system of numbers, clear rules for addition and multiplication. You'd expect every true statement about them could be proven, like a solved puzzle. But Kurt Gödel, in 1931, showed this dream is impossible. His incompleteness theorems revealed a startling limit to mathematics. Any system complex enough, like arithmetic, has truths it cannot prove. Picture a sentence that says, "This statement cannot be proven." If it's true, it's unprovable, just as it claims, leaving a gap in logic. If it's false, the system proves a lie, shattering its consistency. This is Gödel's first theorem, a quiet earthquake in the world of reason. The second theorem deepens the mystery. You cannot prove the system's own stability. It's like checking a bridge's strength while standing on it. Mathematics, for all its precision, rests on a kind of faith. In 2025, Gödel's work shapes artificial intelligence and computability. No algorithm, no matter how advanced, can solve every mathematical question. AI researchers face this limit daily, coding within Gödel's shadow. Philosophically, it humbles us. Truth is vaster than proof. Imagine a universe governed by rules we can see but never fully justify. Gödel's theorem suggests some realities slip beyond our grasp. As you listen, let this vastness settle like a soft mist in your mind. Numbers and truths blur, easing you towards sleep. Gödel used self-reference, encoding statements as numbers, a brilliant twist. This mirrors Russell's set, looping back on itself, defying closure. In the 1930s, his proof stunned thinkers, from Einstein to Turing. They saw mathematics not as a fortress, but a tapestry with holes. Today, quantum computing probes these gaps, seeking new ways to compute. Yet, Gödel's limit remains, a reminder of reason's boundaries. Picture a mathematician, pen in hand, chasing a proof that never comes. The unprovable truth exists, visible but untouchable, like a star. In 2025, this shapes how we trust AI to reason for us. If machines can't know all truths, what can we rely on? The paradox invites humility, a gentle nudge toward wonder. As you drift, feel the weight of unprovable truths lighten. Let their mystery cradle your thoughts, soft and distant. Now, let's explore a paradox that twists geometry, the Banach-Tarski paradox. Imagine holding a solid sphere, smooth and perfect, like a glass orb. Could you break it into pieces and rebuild them into two identical spheres? Not larger, not smaller, two spheres, each a twin of the first. Your intuition protests. Matter cannot double, volume cannot multiply. Yet, in 1924, Stefan Banach and Alfred Tarski proved it's possible. This is the Banach-Tarski paradox, a marvel of abstract mathematics. It doesn't involve physical cuts, but strange, non-measurable sets of points. Take 5 such sets, rotate and shift them with infinite precision. Miraculously, they reassemble into two spheres, each identical to the original. The secret lies in the axiom of choice, a controversial rule in math. It allows picking one point from every set, no matter how chaotic. Without this axiom, the paradox collapses. With it, reality warps. This isn't about real objects. Atoms and physics forbid such tricks. But in pure geometry, the impossible becomes logically true. In 2025, this paradox intrigues computer scientists and game designers. Non-measurable sets challenge how we render space in virtual worlds. They appear in algorithms for 3D graphics, simulations, and AI navigation. Philosophically, it questions our grasp of quantity and infinity. If one sphere becomes two, what does amount even mean? The paradox is both absurd and airtight, a logical dream. As you ponder, let its strangeness flow through you like a quiet stream. Two spheres from one, a mathematical whisper for sleep. Think of the mathematicians who first wrestled with this idea. Banach and Tarski, in a war-torn Europe, found beauty in abstraction. Their paradox shows math can defy the rules of everyday sense. In 2025, it inspires artists who sculpt impossible forms in code. It challenges physicists who wonder if the universe holds such secrets. The axiom of choice, though, divides thinkers even today. Some embrace it, others reject it, seeking firmer ground. Yet the paradox stands, a testament to logic's wild imagination. As you lie there, let its oddity soften your thoughts. Geometry bends, and your mind drifts toward rest. Now, let's revisit a classic riddle, the liar paradox. Picture a single sentence. This statement is false. If it's true, it must be false, as it boldly declares. But if it's false, it's true, for it speaks the truth about itself. Round and round, a logical spiral that never settles. This paradox, born in ancient Greece, still haunts modern minds. Epimenides, a Cretan, once said, "All Cretans are liars. If he speaks truth, he lies," a twist as old as philosophy. Rest now, as logic's riddles dissolve into dreams. Now, let's ponder a paradox of power, the paradox of the ruler. Imagine a leader, silhouetted against the dawn, facing a choice. Two futures unfold, one of prosperity, one of fairness. Prosperity lifts many but casts shadows on the rest. Fairness balances all, yet dims the collective glow. Which is the rational path? Does reason even suffice? This paradox probes the weight of decisions in power's grip. Authority demands clarity, yet clouds the mind with doubt. Emotions, pressures, and unseen biases bend logic's arc. In 2025, decision theory grapples with this human flaw. Rationality assumes perfect data and unswayed goals. But choices drown in uncertainty, a fog of human hopes. Picture a council in 2025, debating AI's boundless reach. One path frees innovation but risks chaos in its wake. Another binds it tight, yet slows the march of progress. Data guides, but cannot capture the pulse of human fear. The paradox whispers, pure reason is a distant star. Herbert Simon named this bounded rationality, a truth of limits. We decide with fleeting time, partial truths, and weary minds. Power magnifies this, a lens on our fragile logic. In 2025, algorithms bolster rulers, sifting seas of data. Yet they carry the biases of those who wove their code. Imagine a machine charting paths for a city's future. It counts costs, but misses the dreams in people's eyes. The paradox asks, can any choice be truly just? This riddle isn't only for kings, it lives in us all. Recall a moment you chose, heart and mind at odds. The paradox is the tremor beneath every step you took. History hums with this, emperors, rebels, all caught in its web. Think of Lincoln, weighing war against the nation's soul. In 2025, it shapes talks on tech, trust, and tomorrow. Philosophically, it questions if reason can bear power's weight. Picture a lantern in a storm, its light flickering yet true. The paradox is the wind that tests its fragile flame. As you drift, let this riddle wrap you like a soft mist. Power and choice blur, easing you toward sleep. This paradox echoes the liar's twist where truth loops back. A ruler's self-doubt mirrors a statement questioning itself. In 2025, it guides how we craft AI with ethics in mind. Can a machine choose justly when its makers falter? The paradox hums in the silence of their circuits. As you lie there, let its weight dissolve like dew. Decisions fade, and your thoughts drift to rest. Now, let's explore a paradox of vagueness, the Sorite's paradox. Picture a heap of sand, golden grains glowing in the sun. Remove one grain, surely it's still a heap, unchanged. Remove another, then another, each time just one. When does it cease to be a heap? Where's the line? Logic falters. One grain can't make or break a heap. Yet, grain by grain, the heap vanishes into nothing. This is the Sorite's paradox born in ancient Greece. Eubulides, a philosopher, posed it to challenge clarity. It applies beyond sand, to age, wealth, even identity. When does a child become an adult? One day? 1 hour? Each moment seems trivial, yet the shift is profound. The paradox reveals vagueness in language and thought. In 2025, it shapes how AI handles fuzzy concepts. Think of a machine sorting images. When is a chair big? It needs thresholds, but the paradox shows they're slippery. Programmers use fuzzy logic, blending yes and no. But the Sorite's paradox lingers, a puzzle unsolved. In law, it complicates definitions. When is a group, a crowd? One person more or less shouldn't matter, yet it does. Philosophically, it questions where boundaries truly lie. Imagine a riverbank, grains of sand washing away. When does the river claim the shore? The line blurs. The paradox echoes the Monty Hall's lesson of doubt. Both show how our minds wrestle with shifting edges. In ancient Greece, Eubulides smiled at this riddle's grace. Centuries later, it shapes 2025's debates on identity. When does a machine become conscious? One code line? The paradox hums in AI ethics, a quiet challenge. Picture a painter, each brushstroke building a scene. When does it become art? The Sorite's paradox asks. In 2025, it informs how we regulate vague policies. Think of laws on data privacy. When it is data personal? The paradox shows no single bit flips the scale. As you ponder, let this riddle flow like a soft breeze. Heaps and boundaries blur, guiding you to rest. The Sorite's paradox connects to Russell's set, where edges defy. Both question how we carve the world into tidy boxes. In philosophy, it sparks debates on meaning and truth. Can we pin down anything without losing its essence? Imagine a star field, each point fading into the next. The paradox is the sky, vast and undefined. As you lie there, feel its mystery settle like dusk. Vagueness and clarity fade, pulling you to sleep. Think of Eubulides, pondering sand under olive trees. His paradox endures, a whisper across millennia. In 2025, it challenges how we build intelligent systems. When does data become enough to trust a machine? The paradox lingers, a grain of doubt in every choice. As you drift, let its softness cradle your thoughts. The heat dissolves, and silence wraps you close. These paradoxes weave a tapestry of wonder and doubt. From rulers to grains, they trace reason's fragile edge. In 2025, they shape our tools, our minds, our dreams. As you listen, feel their patterns ease your heart. Logic's riddles soften, fading into the night. Rest now, as questions dissolve into gentle calm. Each paradox a lullaby, sung in whispers of thought. Let them carry you weightless, to the edge of sleep. The world's puzzles blur, and silence holds you near. Sleep now, as logic's tides ebb into dreams. The night is soft, and paradoxes fade to peace. Rest, as the infinite weaves its quiet spell. Thoughts dissolve, and sleep claims you gently. The riddles linger, faint as stars in dawn's light. Drift now, as the world's mysteries cradle your dreams. Let's return to a paradox that bends space, the Banach-Tarski paradox. Picture a sphere, perfect and gleaming, held in your hands. Could you shatter it into pieces and rebuild two identical spheres? Not stretched or shrunk, two twins of the original. Whole. Instinct cries out. Matter cannot multiply, it's absurd. Yet in 1924, Banach and Tarski prove this is possible. This is the Banach-Tarski paradox, a marvel of pure math. It relies on slicing the sphere into strange abstract sets. Not with knives, but with points that defy measurement. 5 such sets, twisted and shifted, form 2 perfect spheres. The key is the axiom of choice, a rule that sparks debate. It lets you select one point from every set, no matter how wild. Without it, the paradox fades. With it, geometry warps. This isn't about physical balls, it's a dance of abstract space. Atoms and physics forbid such tricks in our tangible world. But in math's realm, the impossible blooms into truth. In 2025, this paradox captivates coders and creators. Non-measurable sets challenge how we render virtual worlds. Think of a game designer crafting infinite landscapes from code. The paradox whispers in their algorithms, bending space. It shapes 3D modeling, where points multiply beyond sense. In quantum computing, it hints at strange geometries. Picture a qubit, splitting states like the sphere's odd sets. The paradox asks, what is quantity in an infinite world? Philosophically, it questions our grasp of reality's fabric. If 1 becomes 2, what does 1 even mean? Imagine a sculptor chiseling a form that doubles itself. The paradox is the stone, yielding to logic's strange will. In the 1920s, Banach and Tarski worked in a world of war. Their paradox was a refuge, a glimpse of eternal order. Today, it inspires artists who paint impossible shapes. It nudges physicists probing the universe's hidden folds. The axiom of choice divides thinkers. Even in 2025, some embrace its power, others seek a firmer ground. Yet the paradox endures, a riddle that delights and haunts. As you drift, let its weirdness flow like a quiet stream. 2 spheres from 1, a whisper for your dreams. The Banach-Tarski paradox echoes Russell's set, where rules loop. Both show logic's dance with infinity, ever elusive. In 2025, it shapes how we model data's boundless forms. As you lie there, feel its mystery settle like moonlight. Space and number blur, guiding you to rest. Now let's explore a paradox of evidence, the Raven paradox. Picture a scientist testing a simple claim. All ravens are black. Each black raven they see supports the rule, evidence piling up. But logic says a green apple also supports it. How? The claim, all ravens are black, is the same as all non-black things are non-ravens. A green apple, not black and not a raven, fits the second rule. So, it confirms the first, that all ravens are black. This is the Raven paradox, proposed by Carl Hempel in the 1940s. It challenges how we think, evidence strengthens a claim. Intuition box. How can an apple prove anything about ravens? Yet logic insists it does. A twist in reason's path. In 2025, this paradox shapes AI and data science. Machines learn patterns like, all spam emails have keywords. A non-spam email without keywords supports the rule, oddly. The paradox questions how we train systems to weigh evidence. Think of a doctor diagnosing a disease with specific signs. A healthy patient without those signs confirms the pattern. Yet it feels wrong. How does absence prove presence? In philosophy, the paradox probes induction, our trust in patterns. Imagine a stargazer, noting each star to predict the sky. A cloud, not a star, somehow supports their chart. The raven paradox is that cloud, drifting in logic's gaze. In the 1940s, Hempel puzzled over this in quiet study. His paradox sparked debates that echo in 2025's LabStot. It shapes how we verify claims in a world of noisy data. Think of fact-checkers, sifting truths from digital streams. The paradox asks, what counts as evidence and why? It connects to the Sorites paradox where boundaries blur. Both question how we pin down the world's vague edges. In 2025, it guides policies on scientific trust. When does a study's data confirm a universal law? As you ponder, let this riddle settle like soft rain. Ravens and apples fade, easing you towards sleep. Picture Hempel, pen in hand, tracing logic's quiet turns. His paradox lingers, a star in reason's endless sky. As you drift, feel its patterns dissolve into calm. Evidence and doubt blur, guiding you to rest. We've wandered through logic's strangest paths tonight. From sets that defy their own existence, to truths no proof can ever touch. From spheres that multiply in impossible ways, to words that twist truth into endless knots. From numbers too vast for simple names, to surprises that slip through logic's grasp. From choices weighed by power's heavy hand, to probabilities that trick the eager mind. From heaps of sand that vanish grain by grain, to evidence that hides in unexpected forms. These paradoxes are more than math. They're human. They mark where reason bends, yet holds its ground. In 2025, they weave through our tools and dreams. AI, quantum systems, and logic lean on their lessons. Muscle set warns coders of loops that never end. Gödel's gaps humble our brightest machines. Monty's doors guide choices in a world of chance. The Sorites' grains question how we define the world. Hempel's ravens teach us to doubt what we assume. Each paradox links us to thinkers across time. From ancient Greece to 2025's humming labs. They're not answers, but questions to hold gently. They show logic's beauty lies in its quiet doubts. Imagine a library where each book holds a paradox. The pages turn softly, whispering riddles to the night. In 2025, they spark curiosity in code and cosmos. As you lie there, feel their patterns weave a lullaby. The mind's puzzles dissolve, fading into calm. Let these mysteries carry you gently to rest. Picture a world where paradoxes are stars, softly glowing. Each one a question, lighting reason's endless sky. They hum in the silence, a song of doubt and wonder. As you drift, let their light fade into dreams. Logic's edges blur, and sleep wraps you close. The paradoxes linger, faint as echoes in the dark. Each a riddle, each a thread in thoughts, soft weave. Rest now, as their questions dissolve into peace. The night is gentle, and reason's tides ebb away. Sleep claims you, as paradoxes fade to silence. Soft ambient music begins, warm and slow. Melody drifts, like ripples on a still lake. Notes weave soft as a breeze through leaves. Chimes hum faintly, blending with the night hue. Music softens, a quiet pulse of calm. Ambient tones fade, barely touching the air. Gentle hum lingers, like a distant wave. Silence creeps in, warm and embracing. Faint chimes return, soft as starlight dew. Melody ebbs, a whisper of fading note shungs. Quiet hum settles, cradling the night while. The silence deepens, a canvas for dreams. Soft white noise begins, optional, for deep sleep. Noise hums gently, like a distant ocean. Faint chimes weave through, delicate and sparse. And softens, a breath of quiet air. White noise fades, leaving a gentle hum. Silence returns, warm and weightless us. Sporadic chimes, like stars blinking in the dark. Hum lingers, faint as a memory. Silence deepens, a cradle for rest. Soft noise resumes, a whisper of calm. Chimes drift, sparse and soothing. Sound fades, leaving a quiet pulsar. Silence wraps close, soft and still. Faint hum returns, like a distant shore. Chimes sparkle, fleeting and gentle. Noise softens, a breath of peace. Silence blooms, vast and embracing. Soft noise hums, optional, for deeper rest. Chimes fade, like echoes in a dream. Hum lingers, a thread of calm. Silence settles, a haven for sleep. White noise drifts, soft as moonlight joy. Chimes hum faintly, a distant lullaby. Sound ebbs, leaving quiet air. Silence deepens, a cradle for dreams. Soft hum returns, warm and subtler. Chimes weave through, delicate and rare. Noise fades, a whisper of rest. Silence holds you, soft and still. White noise hums, a gentle tide. Chimes drift, faint as starlight dew. A sound softens, a breath of calm. Silence wraps close, a haven for sleep. Soft noise resumes, like a distant wave. Chimes hum, sparse and soothing. Hum fades, leaving quiet air. Silence blooms, vast and gentle. White noise drifts, optional for deep rest. Chimes fade, like echoes in the night dew. Home lingers, a thread of peace. Lawn settles, a cradle for dreams. Soft noise hums, warm and subtle. Chimes weave, delicate and faint. Sound ebbs, a whisper of calm. The silence holds you, soft and still. White noise returns, like a gentle tide. Chimes drift, faint as moonlight. Noise softens, a breath of rest. Silence wraps close, a haven for sleep. Soft hum resumes, warm and quiet. Chimes hum, sparse and fleeting. Sound fades, leaving gentle air. Silence deepens, a cradle for dreams. White noise drifts, soft as starlight dew. Chimes weave, delicate and rare. Noise ebbs, a whisper of peace. Silence holds you, vast and gentle. Soft hum returns, like a distant shore. Chimes drift, faint and soothing. Sound softens, a breath of calm. Silence settles, a haven for rest. White noise hums, optional for deep sleep. Chimes fade, like echoes in a dream. Hum lingers, a thread of quiet. Silence wraps close, soft and still. Soft noise resumes, warm and subtle. Chimes hum, sparse and gentle. And sound ebbs, a whisper of rest. Silence deepens, a cradle for dreams. White noise drifts, like a gentle tide. Chimes weave, faint as starlight. Noise softens, a breath of peace. Silence holds you, vast and quiet. Soft hum returns, warm and fleeting. Chimes drift, delicate and sparse. Sound fades, leaving gentle air. Silence settles, a haven for sleep. White noise hums, soft as moonlight dew. Chimes hum, faint and soothing. Noise ebbs, a whisper of calm. Silence wraps close, soft and still. Soft noise resumes, like a distant wave. Chimes weave, sparse and gentle, and sound softens, a breath of rest. Silence deepens, a cradle for dreams. White noise drifts, warm and subtle on. Chimes drift, faint as starlight dew. Noise fades, a whisper of peace. The silence holds you, vast and gentle. Soft hum returns, like a distant shore. Chimes hum, delicate and sparse. Sound ebbs, a breath of calm. The silence settles, a haven for rest. White noise hums, optional for deep sleep. Chimes fade, like echoes in a dream. Hum lingers, a thread of quiet. Silence wraps close, soft and still. Soft noise resumes, warm and subtle. Chimes weave faint and soothing. Sound softens, a breath of rest. Silence deepens, a cradle for dreams. White noise drifts, like a gentle tide. Chimes hum, sparse and gentle. Noise ebbs, a whisper of peace. Silence holds you, vast and quiet. Soft hum returns, warm and fleeting. Chimes drift, delicate and sparse. Sound fades, leaving gentle air. Silence settles, a haven for sleep. White noise hums, soft as moonlight dew. Chimes weave faint and soothing. A noise softens, a breath of calm. Silence wraps close, soft and still. Off noise resumes, like a distant wave. Chimes hum, sparse and gentle. Ebbs, a whisper of rest. The silence deepens, a cradle for dreams. White noise drifts, warm and subtle. Chimes weave, faint as starlight. Noise fades, a breath of peace. Silence holds you, vast and gentle. Soft hum returns, like a distant shore. Chimes hum, delicate and sparse. And softens, a whisper of calm. Silence settles, a haven for rest. White noise hums, optional for deep sleep. Chimes fade, like echoes in a dream. Hum lingers, a thread of quiet. Silence wraps close, soft and still. Soft noise resumes, warm and subtle. Chimes weave faint and soothing. Sound ebbs, a breath of rest. The silence deepens, a cradle for dreams. White noise drifts, like a gentle tide. Chimes hum, sparse and gentle. Noise softens, a whisper of peace. The silence holds you, vast and quiet. Soft hum returns, warm and fleeting. Chimes drift, delicate and sparse. And fades, leaving gentle air. As silence settles, a haven for sleep. White noise hums, soft as moonlight dew. Chimes weave, faint and soothing. Noise ebbs, a final whisper of calm. Silence wraps close, eternal and still. Extended silence, a canvas for deepest dreams. Soft white noise, optional, like a distant ocean's hum. Silence with faint chimes, sparkling like stars. White noise fades, leaving pure stillness. Extended silence, warm and embracing. Soft hum, customizable, for unbroken rest. complete silence or faint noise, sleep unfolds.